Okay, hello again. We're back on the almond and the lower beach this time. This is beat 1, near the top of beat 1, coming up towards the old brig. I don't usually fish here, simply because it's very popular with walkers and dog walkers and things, and it can get very busy. And today's Easter Monday and it's nothing like as busy as I thought it was going to be, so I'm happy enough with that. I've seen a few fish rising. There's one right in front of me. I don't know how big they are or anything or what they're taking, but there's a little hatch of March browns and olives, so I'll maybe have a few casts here. I'm just using my usual Greenwell's Glory on a little Witchwood 7.5 foot D-flow, I think it's called, 4-weight rod. Very simple, very light, perfect for these little fish in less than ideal conditions because the sun's just come out and now it's very glary on the water, but what can you do? So this is a new rod. I've only had this out once before and I'm still getting used to the action of it. So, lost it, bugger. I'm still getting used to the action of it, so I'm going to have to hack at it a little bit until I find out what works best here. There's another fish. I'll have a go at that one, see if I can keep that on the hook. As always, I've debarbed my hooks. I don't think I'll lose any fish because of that, but I'd rather lose a fish than harm it. Okay, we're a little bit further downstream. I've been sitting watching this pool for a couple of minutes now and I haven't saw anything move on it, which I'm surprised at, because it looks fishy, doesn't it? It looks like there should be fish in here, and there probably is, they're just not rising. And I'm seeing a few little olives or March browns dancing on the water, but nothing coming up for them. So I'm going to sit and watch this pool for another minute or so to see if anything comes up. Oh, as soon as I say that, just a few feet to the right of me. Let's see if we can cover them. Let's see. Oops, pardon fingers. And sorry again, but I'm not very good at this editing and filming thing, but we'll see. I certainly have a cast over that, 'cause it's the only fish I've seen rising in this pool. Well, that fish didn't show itself again, and I was concerned that it looked like a little garden gnome sitting on that rock. So I've moved a little further downstream, not much, maybe 50-60 yards, and I saw a fish rising there, taking off the surface just a few feet in front of me. So I'm going to get behind this big rock that I've put the camera on and just have a few casts into there to see if I can find it if it doesn't show itself again. But it came up 2 or 3 times in the time it took me to walk down, so it's definitely active. So let's see what's going on. Well, okay, this is the last pool. I did a little bit in the weir pool there. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in because a bit of a wind blew up and there was a load of people around with their kids and their dogs letting them in the water while I was fishing, which is infuriating, but there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm going to fish here on the far side there, just under that overhanging tree. This is a nice little sea trout pool. I've had some good sea trout out of here, and I'm leaving a wee reminder to myself to put in the picture of the sea trout I caught at the beginning of the season, just so I don't forget when I'm editing this out. The water's not very deep, it's only a few feet, but once the sea trout and the salmon come up over this little weir, they tend to rest in here for a bit before making their way up that channel on the other side. So I'm going to fish from the top of that down to that rock there and that rock there. In between those is where I've caught most of my sea trout here. So I'll pause here and I'll reset the camera and we'll go and see. Well, oh, caught a 3. There we go. At least I caught something here. Well, I think I'm going to knock it on the head for today. The water's too low. There's nothing moving in here at all. I can't see anything under the surface. There's certainly nothing coming up to take off the surface. And I think I'm about to lose this fly. Yep, it's going to snap, and there we go. Let's catch my rod before it floats away too. So that was Easter Monday on the lower beats of the Almond. It usually does fish a little better than this. Today's just been a bad day, unfortunately, but that's just the way it goes. I expect I'll make this part of a longer video and not just put this out, because it's not very interesting, is it? Listening to me ramble on about not catching fish and getting caught up into these. Anyway, it's still a nice place to be, even if I don't catch anything. So I'll turn around and look upstream. Isn't that just gorgeous though? Even if I don't catch anything, it's worth it just to be out here on a day like this. I'm not going to spend long at the bridge here, because I fished here the other day, and I do want to move up to another part of the river which is much narrower, a little more difficult to fish. But I thought, if I can see fish rising, I might as well have a cast at them on the way. I've already got my rod set up and everything, so I might as well. So I'll have a couple of casts here. If I don't see anything rising, then I'll move on. Oh, there it is right in front of me again. And I think I'm going to have another frustrating fish rising right in front of me, not taking my fly day. Today's just got that kind of feel about it, you know. But everything's against you. The wind's swirling all around me. I've almost certainly got the wrong fly on. You know, just one of those days. But I'll give it a go anyway. As you can see, there's another fish rising. Probably a little bit out of range, and I think there's someone else. I recognise them up ahead. So I don't know if they're fishing up or downstream. I'll get out of their way in a minute anyway. And there's the ubiquitous dog walkers, showing absolutely no concern for their animals whatsoever, and letting them jump into the water while we're fishing with hooks on the end of our line. It's enough to drive you mad. They get all entitled and go, oh, I've got as much right to be in the river as you, and blah blah blah. Yeah, and of course you do, but the problem isn't you're disturbing my fishing. The problem is I've got a hook on the end of my line, and you're letting your dog jump in front of me. You know, it doesn't take much to realise that that's just an accident waiting to happen. So last cast at this bit, then I'll go up and see what my friend up there has been doing, and let's see if he's had any better luck. I say better luck than me, I've only had a few casts, but you know. Okay, last one. I'm not getting the fly out where I want it because the wind keeps taking it across to the side. So that looked about exactly where that fish was. And nothing, no interest at all. So we'll sack it for here for now, and we'll go up to the place I actually want to be today. Okay, so right, I'm back at the pool I was fishing when it was snowing just a couple of weeks ago, and as you can see the conditions couldn't be more different. The water's much lower, it's much brighter. There's still a couple of fish moving. There's one just there, and there's quite a big hatch of, I don't know, duns or something, who knows. But I'm going to just drift this little emerger down just to see if it's worth keeping it on before I switch back to the dry. Because I say where I'm going, I fished with the dry a couple of weeks ago and had very little success. So I'm wondering, Shall I just change it now, or will I see if the fish are going to take it? So let's just see how we get on here. Right, so once we get to the top of that run, that's probably not. It's probably too low. A wee bit higher than that maybe. I just need to be careful because there's not much of a back cast here, and I don't want to get caught in trees, because then my 9-foot leader becomes a 6-foot leader. No, that was coincidence, that wasn't a take. Right. I wonder what it is they're taking then. Are they taking the dries off the surface, or the carcasses, or are they taking something else? So this little emerger sort of imitates so many different little pupa stages. So I've another couple here. There's one rising closer to the opposite bank, so I'll maybe give these ones a rest and I'll drift down to that one, see if I can catch into that. If not, I'm just going to change over to the dry. Well, okay. They're definitely taking the emerger. That was quite a violent take. I wasn't ready for that. I thought my fly had gone past the fish and I'd missed it. But no, it must have followed it and then just snatched it because it thought it was going to lose it. So, not a bad sized little fish there. Probably again about the kind of half a pound mark. Let's get it in and we'll have a look. Yeah. Hang on a second, just let me get you unhooked there. You just settle down for a moment. So yeah, that's not a bad little fish, maybe 3/4 of a pound, and he's off. There you go. Well, that's a blank saved at least, and at least I know that I've got a fly on that the fish are interested in today. So I'll maybe keep that one for now. It'd be foolish to change it if it's working. There's definitely another fish out there, so I'm going to see if I can get onto that. Oh, got it. I thought I'd missed that. Oh, it's off. I had that on for a moment. Or is it still on? No, it's still on. Oh dear. Okay. I thought that had come off there, but it was coming towards me. That's another nice little fish. Oh, it's not happy. I'll get my main line in there before I lose it on a rock or something. I almost cast that back out there thinking that it had gotten off, but it was swimming towards me. Right. And again, that's a slightly better fish than before. Awesome. That one looks more kind of sea trouty. There's very little red on it, but I'm guessing it's just an early season brown. That'll get him unhooked. There's some red on the back tail there. There we go. And off he goes. Well, that was good. I was worried that we had the wrong fly on, but no, not at all. Well, I had no luck chasing those other two fish we saw. So rather than drive myself mad trying to find the right fly and the right depth and everything, I've decided just to give up And there's a fish, I think, I hope you saw that coming up there, a little further downstream here. Well, not further downstream, this is a different part of the river altogether. This is up past the Grotto bridge. I don't usually fish this part because at the beginning of the year the water's very often too high, and during the summer it's too overgrown, so this is probably the only time I've come this way and it's been worth a cast. It's very, very slippery here, and I don't know if I want to go too much further down, but there's a fish in there, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach it. This is the part I was saying, it's a difficult part of the river to fish here, physically again, because down I go. Luckily that's not deep, so I've only got a wet sleeve there. But yeah, it's very, very slippery here, and there's lots of little unexpected drop-offs and holes that, as you can see, will catch you unawares. But luckily the water's very shallow here, so all I got there was a wet sleeve. But see, that's why I don't usually fish this part of the river. Oh, there's a kingfisher. I hope the camera picked that up. I love seeing that. There's one or two, I think, live on the river. There's definitely one. I think there's maybe two. Nope. So I think I've ruined my chance at this one. Aye, there's no way I'm catching this now. It can either see me or I spooked it. Never mind. Well, this is the pool I was coming up to fish, but as you can see, it's far too low and slow. There's really no point putting a cast in there. I'd spook anything the first time my line hit the water, and the fish would see me and they'd know the fly was a fake. So I'm going to go a little bit further up. There's an overhanging tree there where I've spent a couple of deeply frustrating hours chasing fish that weren't interested again. So we'll move up there and see what's going on. I can't see anything on the surface, so I'm wondering if maybe this one is taking emergers. Or little nymphs under the surface. But have a look and see if I don't scare the damn thing away first with my shoddy casting. So even though I've got the wind behind me, I do have a lot of trees and things behind me. So at least I haven't spooked it, that's something. So I'm being very, very aware of my... I think there's maybe two fish there. Yeah, there's definitely two fish there. I did target these fish the other day for about, oh God knows, probably an hour with absolutely no success. But a lot of the time it's just because I'm too lazy to change my fly. They weren't taking what I was presenting, and rather than trying something new, I just kept on hammering away. They say that's, got you. They say that's the definition of insanity, isn't it? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So this makes up for the other day where I targeted these fish with no success for too bloody long. I don't think this is particularly big. No, it's just a little half-pounder. But that's okay. There we go. I'm happy to catch that because it means I'm doing something right. So let's get back into the bank here and we'll get them back in the water as quickly as we can. Right, so today, oops, dropped my rod in the water, never mind. That's my fly out, and Thanks for playing, little buddy. Off you go. There you go. Again, be very careful here because there are a few big deep shelves. They're not hugely deep, but the water can go from a few inches to a couple of feet really quickly, and if you're not ready for it, it'll give you a bloody fight. I'm going to stop talking about falling in now. You all saw me falling. And if I keep on talking about it, it's almost certainly going to happen again. Oh, there's another fish. So there's 3 fish in this little run. So I'll see if I can look into that one. Is that the same fish, just moved slightly? Or are there a lot more fish in here than I originally thought? It's no real problem, is it? Having more fish. It just becomes a thing of, nah, there's definitely a lot of fish in here. Which one do I target? I don't want to catch one and then spook the whole pool. They don't look like they're very big fish again. Certainly under a pound. Got it. There we are. Right. Yeah, it's just a little one. It's got a good fight in it though. Come on, into the net you come. There you are. Oh, and I'm caught in a tree. There we go. So, there we go. Little quarter pounder. Just at a guesstimate, you know, I don't really know how big they are. Oh, there it goes, I almost hooked myself there. That was a little bit dodgy. Never mind. It's away safely and that's what's important. So, I think that's probably it for this pool. In this part of the river anyway. I'm going to move up now towards the water monitoring station and see what's going on up there. Okay, well after a few minutes of casting out there with absolutely no success, I took a wee break and just looked at the water and it looks like there's a little stonefly hatch. And these fish are almost certainly just taken off the surface, so I've switched over to a dry, my usual Greenwell's Glory. I want to see if I can do any better with that. Well, I can't do any worse. Caught one at last. There you go. That was frustrating. That took a lot longer than I thought it was gonna. I had to pop that one right on the nose. Oh, it doesn't like it. Put up a decent fight. Okay, where are you? There you go. Well, that's a good fish. It's not one of the bigger ones that I thought I might get a hold of, but it's certainly not one of the tiddlers either. So, there we go, get him in the net. I'm going to bring him over to the side here. the water as much as possible. There we go. Well, that took a lot longer than I thought it was gonna. So, I'm going to take my camera off just to get a better look at this little chap. So they wouldn't take the dry there for a good 10 minutes. I was fishing there. I'm going to obviously edit this down. So there you go. So I'm going to call that one just under £1. So there you go. Right, this is probably a complete waste of time, but I'm going to try for another one. I won't learn my lesson, will I? That was probably half an hour since I started fishing this pool to catch one, but there's still fish rising. So, and I have caught one using my dry, so I know at least that one will take it. So if one will take it, maybe another one will. But I'm not going to spend very much longer here. It's getting cold. That was about to drive me off my bloody head. And I've got another one straight away. This is just a small one. I can feel that this is a small one. I wonder what happened then. They wouldn't take it at all, and then suddenly 2 fish. One off, one after the other. Another little nice one. Maybe another little half-pounder. So, okay, I'm going to have to take him into the bank again. We'll get him on out. Back in a minute. So there we go. Another fine little specimen. That's, I think, half a dozen fish for the day. They're still rising, so I'm going to be greedy and try and catch another one before I call it a day. Let's see. So there you go. That wasn't a bad day at all. It's cold. I fell in, but I caught a few fish. That's worth it. This is the Grotto Bridge, or some of the locals call it the Harry Potter Bridge, and it's spectacular. And it's only like a little miniature version of the Highlands. But aye, thanks for watching, and as always, cheerio and rasta.